All right, let's dive into a concept that's right at the heart of great design, but honestly, it's so often misunderstood, affordances. And today, we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to walk through the logical structure of a program designed to really master this critical UX principle. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you something. I want you to picture this. You've just finished a design. It's beautiful. You followed all the rules, right? It's clean, it's modern, it looks absolutely fantastic in your portfolio. But then, the moment of truth. You put it in front of a real user and you just see it on their face. That little pause, that hesitation, you can almost see the gears turning in their head like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? Where do I even click?
And what's our first instinct as designers? It's almost a reflex, right? We think, okay, the user is confused. We need more usability testing to figure out what they're doing wrong. But what if we're jumping to the wrong conclusion? What if the problem isn't the testing at all? This whole program is built on a different idea. The problem isn't in the user, it's in the design's failure to communicate. The problem is affordance.
So let's start right there. Let's talk about this hidden problem. Why do the quick fixes we usually reach for, why do they so often just completely miss the mark?
You know, this list probably looks super familiar, right? Oh, just add a drop shadow. Make sure there's a hover state. We treat affordance like a checklist. But this is just patching the surface. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a fundamental design flaw. And it's exactly why so many interfaces stay confusing.
So to actually fix this, we have to stop thinking about surface-level tricks and go way deeper. We need to understand the core principle, the philosophy that really drives design that just works.
And here it is. It's this simple. The ultimate goal isn't just to make something workable. It's to create something so clear that the user never has to guess. The design itself should do all the talking, so a tutorial or a help button is never even needed.
So how do you get to that point? Well, I can tell you it's not by collecting random tips and tricks from blog posts. You need a structured path, a system. This program is designed from the ground up as a progressive journey, where each phase logically builds on the one before it.
And here's the entire roadmap. Look at the logic here. We start by tearing down bad habits. Then we build a solid new foundation. Then we turn that theory into practical tools, apply those tools to the real world, and finally, we take that thinking to the highest strategic level. It's a complete system.
Let's start at the beginning with phase 0. Before you can build something new, you have to clear the ground. And that's exactly what this phase is for. It's all about unlearning the myths that are holding you back. It's about retraining your brain to see that clean design might actually be a confusing design. So in this phase, we dig into things like how the flat UI trend, while it looks great, often strips away the very clues people need to understand an interface. We'll look at things like ghost buttons, those transparent ones. We'll ask the tough questions. Are they elegant, or do they just make people guess? This phase literally resets your perspective. Okay, let's move on. So once we've cleared away the rubble of those old assumptions, it's time to build a rock-solid foundation. That's phase 1. The whole point here is to give you the correct mental models to build everything else on. This is where we get into the really meaty stuff. We're talking about the critical difference between a real affordance, what's technically possible, and a perceived affordance, what the user thinks is possible. We'll also break down hidden and false affordances, basically the things that make users feel frustrated or even tricked by our designs.
And this question just nails the whole concept, doesn't it? Think about it. Sure, the developer coded the swipe gesture, so technically, the affordance exists. But if there's no clue, no signifier telling the user they can swipe, then to them, it's invisible. It simply doesn't exist. Getting that distinction is everything.
All right, so you've unlearned the bad habits, you've learned the solid theory, now what do you do with it? That brings us to phase 2. This is where the rubber meets the road. We take all that abstract knowledge and turn it into a concrete toolkit you can use every single day.
And these are your new superpowers, your core interaction mechanics, signifiers that scream "click me," constraints that gently guide users away from mistakes, mapping that makes controls feel intuitive, and feedback that tells the user, yep, it worked. Mastering these is how you turn theory into reality.
Okay, now we put it all together. In phase 3, we take the mindset, the theory, and the tools, and we unleash them on the real world. This is all about looking at actual UI components, forms, buttons, menus, and becoming a detective, diagnosing exactly what's working and what's not.
And this table says it all, really. This is the transformation. You'll stop giving vague feedback like on the left, and you'll start making sharp, professional diagnoses like you see on the right. This is the language that builds credibility and lets you defend your design decisions with total confidence. And finally, we get to the top of the pyramid. Phase 4. This is where we zoom out from a single button to the entire system. It's about connecting